Hello everybody, welcome to Crafty Soup. My name is Misty. As part of the Load Challenge, I was guest designer over on the activity page for day 11, and our theme this year is Women of Rock. So the prompts for today had to do with the music group Heart, and our technique prompt was to use hearts on your page, and our story prompt was talk about a sibling relationship that has carried over through the years. So I had to alter this just a little bit, and I'll talk about that more as we go. So here is a picture of me and my brother. I recently went back to the East Coast, I'm a West Coast gal, to visit him in New Jersey, and I haven't seen him in person in 15 years. Now we do keep in touch a little bit online, and it's just not the same. Seeing someone in person was very different. It's like you see their mannerisms and more personality comes out and so on and so forth. So it was really, really good to visit him in person after all these years. So instead of talking about something that carries through our relationship, I wanted to talk about this visit and how the similarities and differences that I noticed. Now I couldn't list them all because I only have so much space, but this was a starting point for that story. Okay, as I've been chatting about my story, I pulled out my counterfeit kit from the month of September, which had this mixed media pattern paper going already that I had used in a previous video, basically as a test paper for some of my mixed media sprays. However, I saved that test paper to turn it into an actual mixed media background. So that is what I am about to do next. I have this heart stencil, and I debated on a couple of different stencils and ended up with this one in the end. Now, when you are swishing your sprays, if you have an oxide spray or a mica spray, you want to swirl them in a circular motion and not shake them up and down, because that is how nozzles get clogged a lot of the time. So I just wanted to point that out as we're going if you're not very accustomed to using sprays. Now I always do a stencil stamp off on a scratch piece so I can use that for future projects. And then I will continue on with my other colors, and you'll see what that looks like in the end. I do have this cut file, which I designed, and it's available for free on my blog. I wanted to darken that up so that it would stand out more from the white of the background, and so I just sprayed that as well. You will notice that I did layer up several pieces of pattern paper behind my photo, and I did have to piece together some of those pieces, but the seam isn't very noticeable on that dark paper, so it's okay. So moving on to my title, I had a whole bunch of alphabet sets in my kit this month, and of course, I'm still missing E's and A's and whatever from each alphabet set, so I had a hard time finding a single set that would be able to spell out my very short title and with all of the same alpha. So what I did is I pieced together, I call it Frankensteining some letters to, I think I had to Frankenstein my A or something like that, to get my title to work. And then I used a smaller alpha set. I like to mix and match my titles fonts anyway, so smaller alpha set to kind of continue on the title a little bit. All right, with my title in place, I'm starting to do some very simple embellishments. I did have a lot of embellishments set aside in this kit, and wouldn't you know it, as I'm going through things, none of the colors are feeling right. I was trying to match up some of that magenta in the background, and my arrows were too purple or too red. And then I have this little typewriter embellishment, and that's too pink. So I was starting to back away from it a little bit until I found these little purple flowers. And since they're so small, the color difference isn't quite as noticeable. So I'm going to create very small embellishment clusters. And I'm going to add into that with these raw chipboard pieces. And because they have numbers on there, I'm going to use that to number my journaling in the similarities and differences that I mentioned before. So I will use a numbered list there. And then I did find a little arrow, which you'll see in a minute, from that chipboard set, because I really wanted an arrow to point to that title. So you'll see me do that. I am using that same small font there to finish up my journaling card. And my journaling's in place. I'm going to add a couple of extra little tidbits of that craft chipboard element to this. And then I have this kind of dual title going on that in the top it says it's been 15 years, and then here in the center it says family traits. So I kind of have this dual title going on. And that is where you saw me find that arrow, which had a little date element to it. So that worked perfectly. And I was glad I had discovered that little piece in my kit because it's what I needed. And then as I finish off a lot of my mixed media layouts with a little doodly border, I feel like that kind of helps contain everything and hold it all together. So that is my take on the prompt for day 11 of Load. I hope I have inspired you in some way to tell some of your own stories or even get messy with some mixed media. So that is it for this time. I will be back with more layout process videos for you this month as I continue throughout the Layout a Day Challenge in October. Thanks so much for watching, and I hope you have an artful day.